In the time that we've started Coach Catalyst, I can't even count the number of competitors that have come in and gone away.
So one of the things that I believe is that people's success depends on how long they can sit in the pain of the problem. So many years ago, Jake Johnson and I started a podcast called Founder Fight Club, and we were convinced it was going to be the best thing since fucking sliced bread. We made count them, three very mediocre podcast episodes in Jake's basement, and then proceeded to never do it again. And 8 years later, we're sitting at this table with our homie Kane doing the first episode reboot of the Founder Fight Club podcast.
For the record, those 3 episodes were the top 3 episodes for a long time.
That's true. They still are until today.
Until today.
This is episode 4.
I mean, technically, I don't know. I think we probably need to delete those other ones and start over. No one's going to make it to episode 4. You'd be like, who the fuck are these clowns? Oh my God. Lots happened between then and now. That was the UpLaunch days. We sold that company, parted ways doing different businesses for a few years, came back together, started another company, ran it for a year, and launched a podcast.
Sentimental episode because Kane, we actually had a relationship with him during our first company, and here we are with company 2, building on that same relationship together. So yeah, lots changed.
Anyone who watches this podcast will get to know us. But Kane, man, introduce yourself, man. You're our guest for the day, so say what's up.
Thanks a lot for having me. Like I said, we've known each other for, I don't even know, 7 years? Is that what it's been now? Jesus, yeah. So it's been a long time. Believe me, I know. I feel it sometimes. Yeah, I mean, like you guys know, I was in the gym space back then, right? Kind of a gym owner. Growing up, I was always athletic. I played a lot of sports. Can't tell here, but I'm 6'6", right? I'm a big dude. So like I played volleyball and basketball, things that led me to utilize my height. But I quickly realized I was not the fastest, I was not the quickest, I was not the strongest. I had to rely on skills. And so like I would use angles, and everybody joking me out an old man game. And like that was the joke in high school. So I used spin and then protect the rim and everything. And that's kind of led me to this belief of like foundation of the basics and trying to build businesses that way. And I think that led me to you guys and led me to run a gym, and then eventually start Coach Catalyst, which is a software for online fitness and nutrition coaches.
Cool. And you're 9 years in the game, man.
9 years. It seems crazy, but yeah.
I feel like you're like an OG founder at this point.
Sometimes I don't feel like it all the time, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lessons learned over the time, a lot of iterations, a lot of, improvements, but it's been a really fun journey.
So one of the things that I believe is that people's success depends on how long they can sit in the pain of the problem. And the problem is that founders, like all of us, I think we all got ADHD, whether it's official or unofficial, but we want to we're chasing dopamine all the time, chasing novelty, want to do this different things. Like, how do you sit with a business for 9 years? I mean, because it's never easy, right? Anyone thinks it's easy has never done it. Like, what's kept you in the game?
I think one of the things we've always talked about is play long-term games with long-term people, right? That's one of the foundations that we have as a business. This sounds crazy, but one of our objectives is to stay in the game longer, is to outlast other competitors. Because in the time that we've started Coach Catalyst, there have been, I can't even count the number of competitors that have come in and gone away. And I felt like they were trying to do short-term fixes and short-term solutions. And we always look at things as like, how is this going to impact the long term? How can we make this last as long as possible? Because we weren't in this to build it and sell it real quick. We weren't flipping things. We really wanted to run this for as long as we could, and it's changed over time. It's morphed. It's gotten solve a completely different problem than we came into. But it's like just always talking to our customers and trying to learn more about their pain point and try to adjust.
Yeah, I love a company that's made it 9 years, specifically in the fitness industry, just a credit to what you're able to do for like building relationships and lasting. I mean, like you went through COVID, you went through probably when you started, how many remote fitness coaches were they 10 years ago? Like
it wasn't, right? It was gym owners, and it was like habit coaches. And that was it.
Because you were Habit Catalyst.
Habit Catalyst. We did 1 habit a day with a lesson. And that was it. That was the entire software. And people paid us for that, which is kind of crazy looking back on it. And then, like you said, like we got into more fitness, COVID happened, we got into workouts, like all these things happened in the world and in the coaching industry that made us adapt and change and build new things and just try to solve different problems that they're having now.
want to understand this long-term games thing, because Jake and I say the same thing all the time. And he and I are, 20-year friendship, firemen before, multiple businesses now. And you and Trevor, you guys go back a decade plus, probably more than that, right?
I mean, it's been 20 years now. We met in 2005.
That's cool, man. I love it. Do you have a time in the business where like you had an opportunity to make a short-term decision that would have benefited you for the week or the month or the quarter, and instead you were like, we're not going to do that. We're going to take the long-term approach?
There's been multiple times, right? A couple, basic ones that stand out to me are what we build. There's multiple times somebody comes to us and said, hey, I got this partnership, right? I can bring a bunch of coaches to you right now if you build this thing. It wasn't something that would benefit the rest of our users. It wasn't something that we wanted to build. It wasn't something that I thought was a good fit for our software. We could have done it and gotten some new customers right away, which who doesn't like new customers and users? But we made the hard decision of no, we don't think that's in the best interest for the rest of our users and our company right now, and like had to turn away that short-term cash for what we felt would be best.
I love the thought process of the greater good. We've talked a lot about this, just coming from like a military past, a fire service past. Like sometimes you have to make decisions that are very hard in the moment for individuals, looking at, hey, does this impact and help the most people? So it's like amazing takeaway from that is just like staying focused on, it is so easy to chase the shiny object and say like, oh my God, this would change us immediately. But really being driven in values and saying like, hey, this helps the greater good. World class.
And that's one of the reasons we got into this, right? We were running gyms ahead of time. We wanted to change lives. That's why a lot of people do it. I mean, you might like working out, but at the end of the day, like you have to want to change people's lives for the better. And we realized I could affect 200 lives, right? Realistically in my hometown. But like we knew we could do something bigger. So how can we change? Our goal is to change 1 million lives, right? How can we do that so we equip coaches with the right tools, with the right education to be able to help change more lives so we can make a bigger impact than just the 200 in our local community?
It's wild. When we were talking earlier, and I want to, in a minute, we'll come back and talk about like how you ended up here and what we've been doing and all that. But, there's a lot of places you can go to listen to people talk about business, but I think there's less places you can go to hear people talk about life. And one of the interesting things we were talking about longevity of your company that Jake had mentioned is he's like, you've been running this company longer than you've been a parent. Yeah. And one of the things that he and I talked about a lot is just like how to do both things well, right? Like to give the business what it needs because it needs what it needs, and how to, be there for your children in a way where they're not going to be 30-year-olds one day pissed off that dad was never around or, mom was never around or whatever. Like, what advice would you give the pre-fatherhood Kane about like what was coming, man?
Let's say I don't always do this to the best of my ability, as we all probably don't. Be where your feet are. That is one of the things that I am trying to live by as much as possible. When I am there with my kids, like I am there, which is hard as founders. Things are bouncing around our heads all day. Oh, I got that problem. Did I do that thing? Yes or no? Like we're always thinking about work. We're always on. And there was one time this past year where my kid called me out and she said, Dad, you're always on your phone. And like, oh, you recognize that? I thought I was like being sneaky and hiding it. It's like, no, I'm not. They recognize everything. And so from then on, it was like, all right, from 5 to 7, phone's away. Like it's just locked away. I'm not going to be tempted. And I'm like, I am where my feet are. Whether it's at work, whether it's home, wherever it might be, like I'm trying to be where my feet are at all times.
It's a really good principle. The first time I heard anyone say that was so you're in good company. It was Sal Frisella from First Form.
Oh yeah.
I was out there earlier, or I guess last year, at his headquarters listening to him speak, and that was one of his kind of key principles. He said, just be present where your feet are. Same thing you're saying. And I mean, that guy runs a freaking $1 billion company, so I'm pretty sure he knows a thing or two about like competing priorities and a dedicated family man and everything. It's it hit me then. It hits me now. It's a struggle for me that I'm, always trying to do better with. I'm sure same for you.
I gotta take Kane off the spot right now. We gotta answer the same question. That was a tough one to be here on a podcast in the studio answering. So you're up, man. I'll go last.
I think if I had to give myself one piece of advice about what it was going to be like to run the business and have kids, it would be that most things aren't as urgent as they feel. Like there are so many things today, like last night, every day, last week, last month, constantly. This is not a solved problem for me. I really struggle with seeing something that I know I can resolve very quickly and deciding not to resolve it on the spot. And so like gosh, I don't remember the day, but this was within the past 72 hours. Um, I was trying to like send a message to somebody and like my computer was acting up and it was like a completely benign response in Slack right before I was going to take the kids up and put them in the bath. It mattered 0% if I answered them or not. It would have been just as fine to probably answer fucking never, honestly. Like it probably didn't even matter. And like my computer was acting up and the message wouldn't send. It was like, why? Some stupid problem, whatever. And I was getting so annoyed that I couldn't just like accomplish the message. And my kids are talking to me and like, I'm like distracted and I'm feeling all like elevated emotionally. And it wasn't until the next day, for whatever reason, I thought about that moment. I was like, that was like the dumbest thing ever to like, why did I even let that impact my personality 1%? Because even though like I didn't yell at the kids, I wasn't short with them. I didn't like overtly do anything. But like you said, like kids, they read you, man. They're watching you, they're absorbing your energy and your emotions. Like I know that my son could tell that I was a little bit stressed about something. And there are things that are worth being stressed about when you're at home. That Slack message, I don't even remember what it was. I couldn't tell you what it was. It was so dumb. I feel like bad even now telling you the story. So it's just like there's this false sense of urgency that everything comes with. Just when you give a shit about the thing that you've built, everything feels super important. And it's really hard for me to just be my naturally logical self, to look at something and say, there's 76 things on that list and all 76 of them can fucking wait till tomorrow. But you know what? Like my kid is one day closer to moving out of the house and I should probably remember that perspective. So that's my existential struggle. And I wish I had a better handle on it when my kids first showed up in this world.
Yeah. Tough to follow both of you guys, but I think my kids are a little bit older than yours. So like my son just turned 16, so he's driving now. And it's like these big milestone moments with your kid's life where you're like, wow, like he's literally, and he lived through, I joke with Matt a lot of times. I'm like, my oldest son understands the grind that we went through with our first company, because at the time I was a fireman, I was running a gym, and we were building a software company, and I was buying and flipping real estate. And so like ADHD to the max. And he was in my truck beside me the entire time. And so like, I always am like, I never have to worry about the work ethic piece with him because he lived it in those young years. And like my youngest now is like, I don't even know if my dad like does anything.
Do you even have a job?
At home on his computer, and then he does this and he does that. But I think, so I have like a big range of like perspective from them. And now as they're getting later, if I could coach myself, which is like, you look back and you just reflect on like the mini moments. It's a combination of, you care so passionately about the thing that we're doing. Like you're not a founder, you're not an entrepreneur, you're not doing the thing if you don't care about it. And when you care about it so much, it becomes another child. It becomes the thing. And then you start tying pieces of your identity to that, so that in doing and being successful with my company, it provides a better future for my children. So then somehow you manage to justify in your mind,
Doing it for you, kids.
yeah, I'm doing it for you. And then, you know, next thing you know, I'm playing basketball with my daughter, and like I have 9,000 thoughts going through my head other than the basketball that I'm playing with my daughter. And I start appreciating the moments more as my kids get older, to realize like, yeah, like, you know, do I have 50 times left of playing basketball with my daughter? Like my son is 16 driving when he is no longer requires the dad to be in the passenger seat, but beside him when he's driving. Like, do I get this time back? Like, what are those conversations? And just being grounded in the moments of like, keep your feet where they are, like the ADHD thing, but really like the endless sacrifice for a company that you manifest in your mind is like your fourth child. I have 3 kids, so it's the fourth child, you know, and just like making sure that you can still prioritize like, oh wait, that business doesn't have emotions, but those kids are watching and they have emotions, and what can you do to make sure that they're fulfilled? You know, it's always a balance. Like that's the struggle. It's always something that emotionally you have to stay tied to.
There was another quick thing that really pulled that out was, there's going to be a last time, right? There's going to be a last time my kids climb into bed with me. There's going to be a last time that they ask me to go do something. If I say no too many times, they're going to quit asking. And then 2, like there'll be times at night where I'm like, oh, just go to bed. I want to go back to work. I need to get back on the computer. Just go to bed. And it's like, in 10 years, how much would I pay to have that moment back? And like I try to remind myself of that. It's not easy, but like I try to remind myself this could be the last time. Like try to enjoy it as best you can.
I feel like I'm going to say something nice about you on camera. Don't get used to it. But you are one of the best people in my life at maintaining that perspective. Like I feel like you have that perspective front of mind like a lot more than normal people do. Like what, why and how?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Maybe we'll get my oldest son on this podcast and get his perspective. Might be a little different than Matt's. Yeah, I think the main reason, young age, I is a blessing the path to entrepreneurship that we had. I think I'm so jealous of people like Ronnie that is 22 years old, amazing, hustling and grinding since he was 15 years old. And he's light years ahead of where we were at that young age as an entrepreneur. And I'm like, God, that would be so cool to have had that experience, but I would have missed out on all of the perspective. And so like very young age, 17, Marine Corps, multiple combat deployments, over a decade as a fireman. And you just realize that these moments that happen and, you know, reactive in moments that you can't control, and like life is so fragile. I mean, at any given second, it is over. It is gone. And like you've seen it as a fireman. I'm sure you've experienced it in other ways in your life that it's just like, tomorrow it's gone. Tonight we walk out of here, I'm walking to my truck in the parking garage and whack, you know, that could be it. And so like, I think that trying to be grounded in that, I don't know if it's like mentally, because at such a young age, you just experience a lot of trauma and hardship that you have to then grow through. And it's like, you got one decision to make. And I think generally people that get to this point in life, like you make the decision to lean into those things and make the best of them and fight for, I experienced that for a reason. What can I do to be better? Is always that I've just tried to maintain that perspective, man. And I think so many people do that in various situations. You don't have to be in the military. You don't have to be in the fire service. You don't have to have those things, but you have to have a non-victim mentality of like, I am going to attack this day and whatever happens is the best thing that can happen. So
Appreciate you sharing that, dude. I think it's funny. The mentality is a big thing, right? Like I've talked to a lot of people about like internal locus of control, external locus of control. Like, do things happen to me or do I make things happen despite the things that happen to me? And it's just you have to choose to be one way or the other. Cause it's like, it's tough, man. Like people oversimplify it, right? And they're like, you know, don't let external things affect you. It's bullshit. Like some people have it fucking harder than other people. Some people, like we all have the same 24 hours a day. Like, shut the fuck up. Like you've never taken the bus to work. Like, shut the fuck up. Like it's not the same. However, you can still do like awesome shit with your life. Even if it's harder, you have to just choose to be like, what an epic story I'm going to be able to tell when I start at like -7 rungs on this fucking ladder and I still figure it out because I'm just going to choose to figure it out, you know? And I'm not saying that's me. Like I've had, you know, all sorts of fucking help and advantages and also disadvantages and challenges like we've all had, but like, you gotta choose to fucking make it happen, man.
I'll piggyback on Kane. You said this earlier. It really is about, and a conversation from Alex on our team call earlier this week, where you're just like, you have to choose the people that you spend time with, because there's so many opportunities where you get around the wrong people and all of a sudden a month goes by, 2 months goes by, 3 months goes by, and you start realizing, wow, like I'm the salmon that is swimming upstream and everyone is pushing me the other way. Like, am I the one that's messed up? Should I start slowing down or this? And like, just, you mentioned it, like surrounding yourself with the right people to have the vision, to have the discipline, to have the perspective, like, is invaluable.
Yeah, definitely.
I was listening to a podcast this morning on my walk, and from Alex Hormozy, and you know, that dude, a lot of good sound bites from that guy. But he said, by definition, if you're going to be exceptional, that means you're going to be an exception. So like, it has to be different. Like you have to be fucking weird. You gotta be weird, and people around you are gonna look at you and be like, "Why do you care so much? Like, why do you do all this shit? You're doing too much. Just relax. Do less. Do less. Do less. Do less." Because it makes them uncomfortable. So it's like cool. And look, like, if you want to be regular, like sick, it's not better or worse. I don't judge anybody, but like, it's tough if you don't let your actions reflect the things that you say you want. Then don't be upset when the things that you say you want don't actually show up.
I think a lot of the times it's so funny. A lot of the times when we talk about and this is conversations with my wife, I think is interesting. We should talk about our wives as it relates to our kids too. Cause like when we talk about the sacrifices our kids make, wives as entrepreneurs, like rock stars. If you're listening to this, rock star.
Deserve a fucking medal.
Gold medal for wife. I think that as we're talking about, we talk obviously a lot of conversations about people and everything like that. And like a lot of our conversations will end up with like, actually like we're the weird ones. Like everyone else is normal. Like we are the weird ones. We are the odd ones. And so like, we just got to keep being odd and rock and roll.
I love it. I say stay weird, man.
Stay weird, man.
How many people are drinking a gallon of water every day and 200 grams of protein like you guys are right now, right?
That's fine. It's my favorite activity.
There we go. Yeah.
This podcast will pause in 2 minutes. You're ready.
How long are we going to talk for? So one of us has to pee.
13 minutes. That's it. That's all we got today.
It's awesome. I love it. We got water jugs under the table. It'll be fun. It's just out of frame. Just mute real quick. So let's talk about being weird. So like you flew halfway across the country to come here and hang out and tear the business apart and spend a whole day figuring shit out. Like maybe like just kind of walk through. I guess nobody knows anything. So we run a software company. That's our main job. It's the main thing that we do. It's called Precision, helping the world's entrepreneurs know their numbers. It's a core belief that you cannot run a business. Like your business is a highly emotional math problem. If you don't know the numbers, you can't fix it. If you fix it without knowing the numbers, you're lucky and I love you, but it's probably statistically not going to happen. Right. But part of what we do, especially with our clients, especially people we know a long time, is we host people here in Maryland for something called a VIP day, which is really like a VIP day and a half to come out, do a fun experience, which I'll let you talk about. And then we spend the whole day basically solving the top 1 to 3 most pressing problems in the business that people bring. And they bring a variety of them. I ask everyone up front what those problems are, because if I don't feel like we can do a good job, I'm not going to let you come here unless you just want to hang out. But yeah, so that's why you're sitting here. That's what brought you here. That's a really, if you compare yourself to most human beings, that's not a normal thing to do, right? It's not, it's yeah, I'm just going to like blow off half a week, invest time, invest money, come out here to have 2 people who are not inside of my business tell me everything that they see going on and how I can make it better. So I'd love for you to just kind of walk through. We'll talk about like what we did later, but just what made you want to come here?
I mean, a number of reasons. Number one, it goes back to like surround yourself with the right people, right? I think you guys are great founders. I think you guys do run a great software company. I think you guys are just cool people I like and doing things that I want to be around, right? And that's not always what we have in our hometowns. That's not always what we have, right down the road. And so I think always whenever I can get in the room with people who have done the thing I want to do, or who are like doing the thing better than I'm doing, I want to do that. Like number one, that's one of the reasons. Number two, I value outside opinions about my thing. We are so close. I mean, like I said, I've been around this for 9 years. It's my baby. It's my 3rd kid. Not 4th. I'm not there yet, or ever. But it's my 3rd kid, and like I am so close to it that sometimes it can be tough to see the right things. It can be tough to see through the weeds and be like, well, no, it's this thing over here. That's the issue. And having an expert opinion from the outside come in and be like, what are you talking about? It's that right there. Can't you see that? Sometimes it's tough to see those things. And so being able to have somebody else come in and really come into this very open and unemotional of, hey, like rip this apart. Like, what do you see? This isn't I didn't come out here to get, you're doing a great job, Kane. Like, no, like we are not where we want to be right now, or we want to get to a different space. What do we have to do to get there? That's kind of the background about like why I came out here and what we want to get out of it, really.
Dude, it's a very, I think, mature and self-aware perspective, because I do the same thing. Like I am on an existential quest to feel stupid in every room that I sit in.
Yes.
I love the opportunity to be a beginner. Like the latest thing is like with content, right? Like, I'm trying to share the message and talk, and oh my gosh, like I still feel like I'm pretty bad at it. But then I go back and look at where I started 2 years ago, and I'm like, good grief, I can't believe I let that leave the building. That's fascinating. And it's one of these things where, there are so many people I've asked and joined masterminds and paid money, same as you, like just come get out and have people tell me all the things that they're seeing, because it's like a skill to try to develop. And you're just like, man, like why couldn't I have seen that?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough to see the label from inside.
Like we talked about this morning, one of the things I truly believe is embarrassment's the price of admission, right? And the content, like I'm slowly starting my content journey. It's rough.
not yours. I mean, in general, it's rough. By the way, Kane, I meant to talk to you.
Like it's tough, and you have to be okay being embarrassed. You have to be okay coming here and being like, "Hey guys, like here's my business. Like some of these things I'm embarrassed about." We went through some of the stuff inside our software platform, and like, "Ooh, that's not where it should be." And I think it's being okay in that and realizing that, yeah, it's not where we want to be yet, but like we can get it there.
I think the biggest thing that I took away from you, that's like, again, it goes back to perspective. What are the cheat codes that you can index card in your mind to be like, when I'm in the next situation and I need to figure something out, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm just going to heads down grind, get through it. You brought up opportunity costs, where it's like you could have spent the next year solving the problems that we solved today. But now like, you're like, I don't need another year. Committed 2 weeks from now, he's going to fix one of the major problems he had within his software. And it's like, I have absolute clarity. It could have taken me the whole quarter to get that clarity. I got it right now.
That's the thing is everybody's been where we want to go, no matter what, somebody's done it in the past.
There's someone always ahead.
Yes. Find those people, learn from them, and do it quicker. Because like I said, 9 years, right? If we'd have known what we know now, we'd have fast tracked that tremendously. But the opportunity cost of waiting another 12 months is huge at this point. Especially things are moving so fast these days. Like you said, the thing that we talked about today in the software, it probably would have taken us 6 to 8 weeks to build in the past. Yeah. Like we can do it in 2 weeks. Like we can turn that stuff around, get feedback, and then adjust again, and get feedback and adjust again. So yeah, opportunity costs, it's huge. And I think most people look at ROI. We talked about this a little bit. Everybody looks at ROI. Is the ROI on this? Yes, that can be important, but what's the opportunity cost of not doing it? I think is even more important.
Yeah, speed is everything, man.
It is
in business. That's like it's funny when one of the things we did today is like an annual operating plan of like how do you like figure out like monthly targets to grow the business, and just seeing the impact of like you can achieve the same goal in March or in July. And the impact that has on your year from a financial standpoint, it's not just can you do the thing, it's how quickly can you do the thing to generate the result as early in the year as possible. And it's like, I feel weird saying this, it took me years to truly wrap my head around the concept of that in business, because I always just felt like, oh, we'll get it right eventually, like we'll be all right. But like there's actually value in getting it less right faster.
Yeah, that's been a hard thing for me to learn, right? It's not ready yet. Yeah. It's not ready yet. It's never ready, right? Get it out, then get it good. Right. We got to get things out, and we got to get iterations on it and learning on it. Not just, is it ready yet? We don't know quite yet. It's tough. It's something I still battle to this day, but we're getting at least a little bit better at it.
You talk more about that, because I know what you're referring to, because we were just talking about it. We say like, it's something that you battle to this day. Like one of the things that I love talking about with people is just like the mindset, what do you want to call it? Head trash of founders, like the stuff we've got to figure out. So when you say like what is the thing that you're battling?
As far as like product side, or
I mean, your product is the catalyst, but it applies to everything.
I mean, especially if we're talking about more of the product, like it's again, we're talking about, it's my baby, right? We're always embarrassed by what we put out there. It's always not good enough. We're always trying to battle in our mind of like, is this valuable? I know it's valuable inherently, but in the same sense, it's like, is somebody going to actually pay for that? Yeah. Like, is this really good enough for it? And I think it's just got to get over that, and you got to understand full-hearted, like you talked about today, like it is 100%. You got to go in this thing, and you got to make sure this is the right solution for you, and you got to fully believe in that, even though you know it can be better in the long term. Yeah.
I think I can put both of you guys on the spot, because like I can summarize a little bit of the pain that you guys are feeling, because both of you guys run the product, you own the product. And so it's really hard when, how many intercom messages have you gotten there like, hey man, I really love that new thing that you put inside the software. It's amazing.
It's always negative, right? It's always negative. I always hear that.
They're constantly taking these little body blows of like, hey man, that was a little jab, little jab, little jab. And there's an ability to absorb that personally and say like, oh my God. Or in our kid reference, which is great, you're making fun of my kid. I created that kid. I'm coaching that kid. I'm the one that's developing that kid.
He wants an ugly baby, man.
No one wants an ugly baby. And so like, I think that's one of the big things that, you don't realize, and like flip the perspective is like, oh my God, for every one negative message, you said it when you started talking about your NPS, and you're like, oh my God, I'm getting all these 10 NPSs back where all of these people are willing to, and you got to do the things that build confidence in what you're doing, because we do. We normalize the body blow, body blow, body blow, body blow, and maintaining that, like, hey, how do we get the positive feedback as well? Because the positive feedback can drive a lot of great change too.
We're always fixing problems, right? It's fun. That's one of our jobs, is to find problems and fix them. So we're always looking at the negative. We always see the negative. 9 things out of 10 could be great, but the one thing that isn't great, that's going to get the focus, which is, I mean, I do a bad job of it. I don't know if you guys, but like looking back on our wins.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, let's look back on 2025. What was our big win? I'm like, fuck, nothing. We didn't do what we wanted to do. So nothing. So it's hard to do that, but it is so valuable.
You gotta piggyback the win map at the end of the year to what we did at the end of this year, like with the year in review. Because I think it is such a, like, we always try to, culture is what you create, right? And it's what you see and it's what you do. And like, there's all of these little things, like the winning culture is like, we try to start meetings with wins. We try to like put that at the forefront. But there is, when you get into the heat of battle, all the wins are forgotten. And it's like, we are just getting punished right now. Like, there's no winning here. And a lot of times as the business ebbs and flows, which we know it all naturally does, the year in review, as you're setting up for what you're going to accomplish in the next year, and like, you should just give a quick 20-second download of what our year in review looks like.
Yeah. So when we get the team together, at a minimum once a year in every company we've ever run, because we're in our first company, we were fully remote. This company, we're about 50-50. We got to get the people here, and we're lucky to have a space now, which is kind of cool. Because before we were in like Regis co-work places and some conference room in the hotel in Gettysburg in the basement with no Wi-Fi.
The first place where Matt worked, the office was as big as this desk right here.
No windows, no climate control, and I run hot. I was a sweaty guy for that first year, man. I was drenched. So we brought everyone in, right? And we did this in both companies, but we call it the year in review. And so it's funny when you get everyone together who's not normally together, and you're like in that thinking big headspace, there's a couple of things that happen. Number one is what you guys already said. We all forget everything that happened. And nobody has any idea what we won at or what we lost at or what any of those little memories are, all the little connective tissue that makes a culture, right? So that's like one problem to solve. The other one is that, when you get people together, I would say 3 or 4 days, I want to keep the rear view mirror to like 10% of our time. I want to go through it. I want to feel good about it. I want to laugh at all the mess ups that we had. I want to lock in the lessons, use that to inform the plan. And the other 90% of the time has 2 goals: build connection with each other, so we remember that there's human beings on the other side of the Zoom call, and figure out what we're going to do in the future. That's the only reason it's worth it to get people together. So we do this year in review, and I have a problem. I'm a hoarder. Not of physical objects, but of digital objects. And so I don't delete emails, I archive them. I never delete photos. I never delete Slack messages, and I write a ton of shit down. And I will tell you, there are 364 days in the year where I'm not sure if it's worth it, and 1 day out of the year when I do that year in review when I know that it is. Because I got to go through and pluck out specific Slack messages and specific memories and specific photos about all of the little things and the big things that happened through that entire year. And so it wasn't like let's do a year in review, in Q1 our net margin increased from blah, blah, blah. Like, fuck that. Like, we all know the numbers. We look at the numbers every week. Jake and I look at them every day. Cool. It's not about that. It's about the people and the experiences and the lessons. And so, like for you putting your desk together in the office over there, sitting underneath of it, cross-legged like a goofball, cheesing with a fucking screwdriver, like, great picture in. The first company all hands, when it was me and Taylor and Matt Ninja, and those were the only people in the business, right? And it was like sitting around a whiteboard, figuring out what we weren't even live yet. We didn't have any customers on the software yet,
First Slack message. Client coming in. First Slack message in general. Like,
yeah, empty Stripe account. Just started up the Stripe account with the Slack message said, take this in because it's the last time it's ever going to look that way. Just all these little things. And so it was a really cool trip down memory lane for all of that. And we did something really neat. This was a new addition this year where, I called out every person that we hired. And then because they're sitting in the room, I asked them to tell their side of the hiring story, which was interesting because all of them had different paths in. A lot of them actually, and this was fascinating to me, a number of people came in through my content or, through conversations that we had on social. Some people, half the team I worked with in prior companies. But dude, it was really neat to just hear them like talk about what they were thinking about and what they were going through, leaving jobs, leaving companies, making a bet on what we're doing here in Precision. It was really cool. So like in the fire department of late, there's always been like this weird resistance to like, I feel like taking pictures, like, oh, it's not professional, like take pictures when you go to a fire or whatever. And like in the fire department, the context is a little different because like, you never know something bad's gonna happen to someone or whatever, but like take the picture, like lock in the memory. And it's the same thing, I think, in business. It's a little bit different of an environment, but the same thing, like save the message, save the information, write the stuff down, take the picture, like just remember it. And then like I probably put 10 or 12 hours into that thing and it was worth every ounce of time that I put into it. And it was just like this really, like, I think it was like a beautiful experience that nobody was expecting except you, because you knew it was coming. But even you didn't know it was in it. Like that was just a Matt Verlack, like Skunkworks project. I just didn't show anyone, I just made the thing. So it's worth it. And it also shows the team that you're paying attention as the leader of the company. Like you think about like what do most people think about bosses? They fucking hate them. They hate us, dude. Like, oh, this fucking guy at the top doesn't know shit, fucking buying boats. I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm broke as shit, whatever, it's fine. Right. But if you can show the team that you're actually like, you're locked in on them, like you're paying attention, you remember what their first day was, you care about their point of view, they're speaking up, you saved a message that they sent you because they did a really good job. And you're like remembering that one time when they worked extra and like 8 months later, you put it in a slide deck and show the whole company. They're like, holy shit, like that's different. So I'm really proud of I wasn't expecting we were going to talk about this. I'm really proud of the interview, man. I think it's a really cool rhythm.
One other thing that like to piggyback on like what it can do for like a company culture, because one of the things, rapidly growing company, constantly hiring people, like I never had the experience of going to a new school. You went to a bunch of schools growing up. I don't know if you
12.
Yeah.
No, I was pretty steady. Yeah.
But like still like elementary school to middle school, you like anxiety of like it's new. I don't really know. And so like think about the anxiety of like a new employee coming into those situations. And so we had JC who was like right off, Dylan like brand new. I mean, JC, it was actually part of it. That was interesting. I don't know that I would recommend that. We actually had a conversation and I said, hey, I think I want JC to sit on this review. One of two things is going to happen. He's either going to be terrified and say like, I don't want to work with those guys, or he's going to be like, I freaking love this place and I want the job. And that's going to kind of architect, the future. But what I would tell you is it made sure that like, they don't feel like the new kids anymore, because when you onboard an employee, you got to get your Stripe set up. You got to get your email. You got to do this. You got to do this. This is how we work here. This is how we work here. They get no context of the emotion that happens throughout the course of the year. And so for us, knowing that we had so many people come on over the year gave us an opportunity to say like, now emotionally they're vested. They have the stories that happen along the way in the full context, which is like, breeds like beautiful culture. Super cool.
It's very similar to what we talked about yesterday with customers, right? This isn't B2B or B2C to B or anything like that. It's humans to humans. And it's the same thing with our team. It's humans to humans. Yes, they have a role to play. Yes, they have a job they have to do, but at the end of the day, it's a human connection. And if we don't make that human connection, like it's going to be a tough business to run. We need people along with us. We can't do this on our own. We try sometimes, we try brute force and we try to just pound through, but like, I think anybody who's built something meaningful and that they're proud of, like they have other people come along and help with it.
You got to. There's never been anything amazing built in this world by one person by themselves. They can't find one thing.
Like we're not self-made, right? It's even people help me along the way. Like we all get help in some way. And we're trying to just do that to other people and pay it forward and just like bring them along for the ride and help, I think, show them a future that we see in them that they might not see in themselves.
I know what we should talk about. Who in your life has seen more in your future than you saw in yourself, and how did they draw it out of you?
Jeez, put me on the spot for that.
I'll answer too, and so will you.
Who has seen more in me? I think a number of people. I think there's two that come to mind right away. Number one, my college basketball coach. right? He was a. It's kind of interesting. Coaches, there's either one of two, in my opinion. There's the yeller, there's the loud, the motivator, the in your face, and there's more like the calculated one, right? He was a calculated one. Before games, he'd come in the locker room and say, "All right, let's go." There was no huge pregame speech. There was like he had prepared us so well throughout the entire week leading up to the game. Like there was nothing else to say. We knew what we had to do. We just got to go and execute. But the way that he kind of developed us and saw potential in us and kind of knew, well, yeah, here's where we are right now, but like I know you can get to this point. I know there's more in you than you probably know is capable. And it wasn't a brute force thing. It was more of almost like a quiet motivational type. That was definitely one that stood out. And then another one, like one of my business partners saw more leadership potential and even like this content side, like that side in me than I thought I had.
Yeah.
I've been a lead by example. That was always my role. Even in basketball, like as a captain and everything, I was lead by example. I wasn't the rah-rah guy. And he saw more in me in that sense that I thought I really had. Like, oh, that's not my personality. I'm not like that. And he pushed me to a point where I could see it. And once I realized it, I was like, oh, okay, there is more there. And they kind of let me go further on.
It's good.
What do you guys?
You want to go or you want me to go?
I'll go. I think mine's I don't know if mine's weird or not. I'm weird, so it doesn't matter. Dude, honestly, like I think it's very simple for me. It's my wife. Yeah, it's just like blind faith, man. Like, I was not if my kids watch this, I was a straight A student, zero trouble. However, for those that are watching it that aren't my kids, I wasn't the best kid in school. You know what I mean? I was always just like kind of my own person, like did my own thing, might have skipped a couple days. And like, I was ready to get out of school way before school was done with me. And so my wife, on the other hand, valedictorian, like wants to be a doctor, wants to do all of the things, like clearly defined path. And I was just like, I don't know, I'm just going to go figure it out. Like, I'm just going to make it happen. And so like, that's like polar opposites right there. And it's been like that forever. It's been blind faith, and anything that I've ever and I've come up with some crazy ideas. I'm going to do this. I'm going to open a gym. She's like, all right, babe, you figure it out. Hey, I'm going to go be a fireman. All right, I support you. Go figure it out. Hey, start a software company with my buddy. Cool, go figure it out. I'm going to buy this house. Okay, cool, figure it out. Like, and there was never any like doubt. Like, I mean, you get someone that's in your corner that much from just a purely like, I believe in you that you will figure it out. Like, that's a pretty powerful thing, And so like, I think that for me, that would be the single most powerful. And then along the way, I mean, I could pick conversations from any 50 people that I'm like, oh my God, I remember the exact words that were said to me that I can repeat in my mind that are like, I need to be that, based on their belief and stuff like that. But that would be mine.
It's tough to follow. Like if I don't see my wife, I feel like I'm sleeping on the couch. It's cool, man. Nice setup. I thought
Sonia is a close second for me. So like,
I mean, she takes no shit from you or anybody else. Yeah, no, I mean, I will definitely agree on like when we said we were going to talk about them. I have a business answer too, but like, it is interesting. I've never had one of those conversations either where it's like, hey, are you sure this is going to work? Or like, are you sure this is a good idea? Like it's never been a thing. It's always like, all right, let's go figure it out. You get there, figure it out. And she was funny though, because after we sold the first company, I told her the statistics on like how likely it is for someone's first company to actually sell. And she's like, I'm not so sure I would have had so much faith if I knew the numbers ahead of time, but I told you to stay a fireman.
And now we'll look up for second time founders.
Yeah. No, she's just in for a penny, in for a pound. Now she's ready to go. Oh, it was so funny. But I think like a similar dynamic at home, but I think outside of that too, like I think Dan Martell's got to be my pick. Like, and I remember a specific moment, I won't get into the specifics, but like we were working on a company and there's a deal we were doing. It had like a lot of like legal stuff involved in it and so on and so forth. And he and I had been in business together for like 12 minutes at that point. Now he'd coached me for a few years with us with our first business, but I remember him leading with what I thought was a relatively insane amount of trust for being that early in the process. And he was pretty much like, all right, here's where I'd like it to land. This, and this. This the email address for our lawyer. So just let me know when it's done. I gotta go. I was like, you fucking with me? And he was like, no. He's like, I believe in you. Like, you'll figure it out. You're smart. Okay. And it's one of those funny moments where you have to say to yourself, like no one's ever trusted me like that with things, you know? It's always like, let's figure it out together. And like I love that about our working relationship. Like we always figure shit out together, even though I know like I got my shit I gotta produce and you got your shit and whatever. And I didn't know how to feel in that moment. I don't know. It was like this. It was this weird mix of like terror, abandonment, and inspiration. It was like a very strange emotional cocktail. I'm trapped in a glass case of emotion. But man, it was. And there were a number of times because then a year after that, I'm his COO in another company, and there were a number of times where I'd encounter some situation that I'd never encountered before and had no idea how to encounter. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm sure you figure it out. Let me know if you need help." You got this. I was like, fuck. All right. And it was in hindsight, a really wonderful confidence builder for me to be able to step into situations that I'd never done, and figure them out. And it was different because like our first company, we were in situations we'd never been in, but it was different because like we were both figuring it out together. It's like the Titanic might go to the bottom of the ocean, but at least we're both going to fucking drown, like we'll be all right. And this was different because it was like, he knew how to do the thing and is like, I'm not going to like give you the answer. Like, just go figure it out because I know that you have the potential to do these things and figure it out. It's like, damn, like there's a painful way to learn for him because like, what if you bet on the wrong person? What if I was grossly incompetent and didn't, I mean, I'm sure you only learned that one time, but it's just, it was just an interesting way. I'd never interacted with anybody who did things that way. But again, exceptional people are the exception, right? Like just be weird. That was fucking weird for me. But it worked out. And so I don't know. It was a good confidence builder.
Would you like to say my wife is the same way too? I was going on the business side of trying to go that route, but yes. I mean, all of our wives, I think we couldn't do what we do without them.
Now I got to change the plaque on his desk to husband of the year.
No, you don't. Just don't do that.
It's all good. I'm gonna bring Gina on this podcast. We'll get the real.
Should tell you all the things.
Might be a different story then, right?
It's wild, man.
All right, we got to get into this recap. We got to talk about. I love one of the things that we do is it's really cool. Like we have a long-term relationship, 7 years, go way back, know enough about the business, know enough about the industry, built alongside each other on a similar path. And so it's almost, we talk about it a little bit. It's like maybe a little, the bottle of emotions, maybe a little bit easier, but also equally as terrifying because we're like, hey, we got to make sure we deliver. Like we go way back. But the most important thing, human to human, we want to break bread first when someone comes out here. And so I'd love to kind of hear from your perspective how our first day was together and kind of what we did and the emotions and the reactions to the experience.
Well, let's even go back before that though.
Do it.
Like the lead up to it, right? Just made it easy, right? Hey, here's all the logistics. Here's all the things. Here's where you're like, oh, okay, I just show up and talk. Cool. Like I can do that. So like, I think that is a piece a lot of people don't think of, but it goes into the entire experience, right? If it would have been stressful coming out here, if it had been stressful trying to, where am I going to stay? What are we going to do? Like that would have had me show up differently. And so I think you guys did a great job on that. But yesterday we started with an experience, right? We're humans, and Matt, I think you've talked about it a lot. Whenever you do your annual retreat with your team, it's always an experience first and then get into work. It's a lot easier to do the work after you do an activity. And so going to XCal and doing something that I've never done before, right? I've never shot guns in that way, or even like those types of guns before. And I think just the environment of seeing a building and a business that is a huge vision of somebody that is nothing you've ever seen in this world, I think was a really, really cool way to start the experience and to kind of be like, oh, okay, like this is what can happen when you think big. I think it's just a cool way to start it and really set the tone for the rest of the trip.
I always call that trip the art of the possible.
Yes.
Like, yeah, everyone like giggles or go shoot some guns and have some fun, but it's not about that, right? It's about seeing, I mean, so the founder, Jason, I mean, you guys were middle school friends, and I'll let you talk about him, obviously. But for me, like, I've met Jason a handful of times. I think he's incredible from what I know. But it's the art of the possible, man. It's like, if we can go in there and meet somebody and have an experience that shows that a, like, person with a vision and like a relentless pursuit of wanting to bring it to life can go from zero business owning at all to that.
It's a big leap.
It's a big leap. And I mean, it's wonderful. And I think the thing that I love about him and that experience in particular is all of the little nuanced details in the building that he physically both dreamed up and also created with his hands. And I think that it goes back to what we were saying earlier about, like, you know, why do you do so much? Why are you care about all this little shit? Why are you in all these details? You know, when I tell people this in like a management discussion, I make this joke every single time. I say, it's not micromanagement, it's just management. Like, it's just what it takes.
Yeah.
And like, you walk into XCal and they have these like unique lights, these LED lights. Like, Jason's the guy who not only decided the pattern of how they were going to go, but you showed up in the construction. He's out up there putting the lights in.
Up on scaffolding on their main wall, running these little pieces of LED lights and just doing it because it had to be done. We talk all about that. Like, sometimes you just have to do what's not scalable to get the job done, to get to the other side. And he was so focused in that vision of what it could ultimately become. And it is an impressive facility and feat to do what he's done.
You sent the address ahead of time, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna check this place out, right? Yeah, and so it's like, oh, it's got a range, it's got a fitness facility. That's cool, that's unique, and that's what I expected walking into it. And you're like, okay, here's the range, here's the facility, here's the next thing, here's the cigar room, here's the restaurant, here's the spa. Like, it's like, what is this place? Like you said, the not just the attention to the detail, but the forward thinking of like building the building in different sections because of the sound, and this is going to do that, and then we don't want the weights to drop and reverberate across. Like, how do you even think about that ahead of time?
A decade.
Yeah, like, it's crazy.
Everybody looks at, you know, they see a building start construction and then they see a building finish and they're like, oh man, these guys are overnight just whipping up this shooting range. And it was a decade of Jason going to ranges all over the country, and then his dad pushing him to challenge what he thought was acceptable and like think bigger and do those things. And I think when you go into a place like that and you see all of it come together and it's someone's unique vision, man, I mean, how many times have we been there? A dozen times at this point. Like, we are constantly there. I watched him build it. I watched him create the vision. Every time I walk in there, I get chills. I'm like, this is a guy that I went to middle school with, that I've been a lifelong friend with, has an amazing facility that was in his brain. And now it is right in front of him, tangible. He can hold it. He's running a world-class facility and crushing it. So it's a cool visionary experience for me. And I've been there lots of times.
It's also like, do cool things with cool people, right? And so it's like, how can we have, so we come out here, we talk about business, we learn something awesome, but like, would I remember that a year later? I don't know. A little bit, but like, I'll remember that. I'll remember yesterday for a long time, if not forever. So I think it's that type of thought process. And again, like, how can you, I'm sure you guys thought about this, how can we make the experience more than just come here and talk in a room and talk numbers and business? And like, how can you do more than that? Like, I think you did a great job with it.
Yeah, it's XCal is inspirational, man. It's like, I feel like it's 30,000 square feet of reminders that it's okay to be obsessive about the details.
Yes. Yeah,
Jason should make that his motto.
Yeah, we're gonna have to clip that one and send it to Jason.
I remember we ran a live event 2 years ago now, and we we're setting up the room ahead of time, and Red Bull helped sponsor us, so we got a Red Bull at every single table, and we went around and we turned every single Red Bull to face the same exact way, and we put the pen the same exact. And people on our team were like, "What are you doing? This is a waste of time." It's like, no, this is how we operate. Like, you have to have that attention to detail in everything you do, because if you don't there, you're not going to in other places, right? Some people argue with me. I fully believe it's like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. I think it's very, very challenging to act completely different in different areas of your life. And I think, especially as business owners, if you don't do that type of stuff, like, you're leaving a lot of opportunity on the table.
The gum wrapper challenge.
Just leave a gum wrapper on the ground.
Leave the gum wrapper on the ground. How many people will walk by it without picking it up?
Firehouse all the time.
It's just like one of those things, like your attention to detail, like who's going to pick up the trash if not you? Like you're just expecting someone else to do it. And that's just like dangerous. So, all right. So day one, big like visionary experience. Had a great meal in the Apex Lounge, which is a really cool experience. And then back to the Visitation Hotel in Frederick, our small little hometown here. And then like walk through that, and then like getting into this morning when you almost killed us.
I don't know about my doing. Yeah. I don't know if that's my doing.
33 calories on an air bike in 45 seconds. Okay.
I guess when you're 6'10", 33 calories is easy.
My legs have got long levers, all right?
Windmill boy over here.
The hotel, right? Very historic town. I didn't know anything about Frederick. Really, really cool downtown. Come in. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's a Marriott property. Didn't know that ahead of time. Completely different than any Marriott I've ever stayed at. But it's got this huge history that the receptionist walked me through of being a Catholic school and being a place where the nuns lived forever. And it was actually a hospital during the Civil War they were talking about. So this huge history in a very nice upscale version now. So it's kind of got that posh and that luxury with the deep history to it. So again, make it super easy for me. Just show up, super comfortable. And then, one of my big things is sweat with people, right? And so we got a workout in this morning. We're all...
Did we ever? It got spicy quick.
You made me bench.
I did.
So, like, that's your fault. I got long levers again, but, like...
Move the weight quick.
It's... You made me do something I don't do usually, so then we had to do a little Airdyne challenge, too, but...
Yeah, it made me do something I don't do often, which is get my heart rate above 140, but it's fine.
But yeah, I think it set the tone for the rest of the day. I think you do something hard in the morning, especially physically, and the rest of the day, like nothing's gonna be harder than that.
Yeah, it's tough to feel bad when you're coming off a good workout.
Yeah, you get that endorphin high, and then we come in here and start dissecting things and picking things apart, and being unemotional about it, like you guys talk about, and like you guys have said a term that I'm going to start using from now on: the business needs what the business needs. All right, and we just got to figure out what that is, decide on it, and then figure out how we're going to accomplish it.
That is it's weird because it sounds like a platitude or like a soundbite or a tweet or something. But when you really think about it, for me personally, like when I started reciting that frequently, I was like, the business just needs what it needs. It's just a simple fact of life. It changed the way that I approached a lot of situations, because I would always approach them people first because I love people. I would say, like, if the three of us are on a team, be like, what is Matt capable of? What is Kane capable of? What is Jake capable of? Add those things up, and that's what the business gets. Like, it's not the business gets what it gets. It's the business needs what it needs. And so if the three of us had a thing and we align on a goal and we say, we're going to grow this thing to, 10 million in revenue by next year or whatever, it's a very, to your point, like simple, unemotional math problem of what does the trajectory look like? What do the numbers look like? What are the things that will lead to those numbers showing up? What does it need in order to fulfill its Christmas destiny?
Yes.
And then from there, like, great. If we cannot give it what it needs, we need to divide up the gaps and figure it out. And who do we need? And what money do we need? Investments we need to make? People we need to hire? But if you approach it that way, it takes the feelings out of it, because it's never like, why wasn't Matt or Jake or Kane good enough to like do their part to blah, like we didn't even define what good enough was at the beginning. And then a year later, when we don't hit the goal that we didn't plan for, we're going to be mad that we couldn't pull 3 fucking rabbits out of our hats and figure out how to do it. Right. But if you just assess it, the business needs what it needs. That's just a fact of life. Right. The sun comes up and the sun goes down, death and taxes, and the fucking business needs what it needs. And then just solve the problem. And that's all there is to it, man. It's a powerful frame.
It is. It seems so simple, right? It's almost one of those, it's easy to just dismiss it. Oh yeah, like it needs what it needs, but if you actually like step into that and like look at it, it really clarifies things.
And it only matters if you have a goal that you're insistent on hitting too. Like there's a lot of ways to run a business. Like you can run a business and you and a couple of homies and it's spitting off a few $100,000 a year and everyone's chilling. Like that's cool. Like that business might not need anything new. You guys like going to live our lives and do whatever. But it's like if you are compelled and committed to going from X to Y in Z time frame, then the business needs what it needs, and you got to figure it out. That's been the frame for almost every one of these days here that we've done. Is like, where is it going? What does it need? Everything else follows from that. I'm glad that you took that with you, man.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to, could I have gotten that myself? I'm sure at some point, yes. We could have figured that out. Would have taken a lot longer. You know it. And so like having an outside look at it of like, well, no, like we know that math problem. We've seen that math problem before. This is what it needs. Oh, okay. That just saved me a whole bunch of time. So
I think some of it gives clarity too on like the rallying cry that is required past numbers.
yeah.
You know, a lot of times it's just like we look at the numbers and like we die in the spreadsheet and it's like, oh, I got so many numbers. You don't die in spreadsheets because you have precision, but a lot of people die in spreadsheets because they're just so complex.
They don't have precision.
They don't have precision. But
Click the link in bio.
when you really get the numbers and you can start looking at it and it becomes challenges like the three of us saying like, hey, the business needs what the business needs and we're just going to help it win. And like, how do we do that together? And it's us versus business success, not you versus me versus Matt versus this. And it's, it's a pretty fun world to be in when people are like, oh yeah, we're all on the same team. We're all rowing the same direction and we know how to keep score. And that's how we win.
Yeah, I mean, one of my big things is surrounding yourself with people who want to see you win too, right? That's a huge, I don't think people do that enough. And like you guys want to see our business win. So like that helps. Understanding that like our customers don't have to change, our competitors don't have to change for us to win. This isn't a zero-sum game. Like we can all do well. Like things don't outside of our company don't have to change for us to do what we want to do. It's like we have the full control over that. We just got to make that decision of what do we actually want, and then here's the path to get there. And like after that, it's not easy. It's simple, right? It's a simple path. It's not an easy path, but like we know what we have to do now.
Yeah, I love that. Amen. I think that was the theme of our day was really about how do we make this simpler, because there was there's a lot of complexity. A 9-year business, like sometimes you just layer complexity on top of complexity on top of complexity, and like you can't peel it back yet. Yeah. And I think that was a big theme that has been on every time we've brought someone in here. Sometimes you just overanalyze until you can't take action. And it's like, how do we simplify this to a place where you can be behind it, my team can be aligned with it, and like simplicity wins. Yeah.
It's an interesting thing, and it came up when we were like looking at product analytics, but it's just the example. The normal, or I guess like the default mode for a lot of entrepreneurs, I think all of us have been there, is you think about a possibility that could happen and then you engineer the solution for that thing in case it happens because you don't want to feel unprepared. Like that is the catalyst for complexity, right? It's like, well, they could do this, so let me just build this alternative path, or they might do that, or this person might buy the software. And the thing that I've reframed recently, and it's why like on our whiteboard over there, it says in big fucking all capital red letters at the top, fight for simplicity. We also have a company value, do less things better. Like I need to get it tattooed on my forehead, or like, like no regrets or whatever. Just like just do less shit.
And it's also become fun for us to argue with each other when we try to make things more complex and we're like, that's not simple enough. And we get mad at each other and argue, but then we're fighting for simplicity.
Yeah. And it's beautiful. Like if you switch the default mode from this thing could happen, so I'm going to account for it, to, you know what, I'm not going to account for it until this thing happens multiple times. Like until it presents itself as a real problem to the point where I must solve it because not solving it would make it irresponsible. Then you introduce the complexity because you have like an unignorable signal that you have to go deal with the complexity that you already have. So many of my problems in life, not even just business, all sorts of shit. You just like think about this shit that might happen one day and then start figuring out how to solve all the problems that haven't happened yet, fight all these battles that never started, or build all these features for these customers I don't even have yet, or all this, product analytics for subsegments of your ideal client profile that, they're 3% of your customer base, or like whatever it is. Like, fucking hey, man, let's just do less, and just go for depth. Like I'm going to solve this one problem all the way instead of like 17 hypothetical problems a little bit. So I feel like I'm doing a lot.
This has come up so many times in this conversation. We are 3 humans sitting at a table. How many? Catalyst has like over 2,000 using it. What's the user count?
Coaches?
Yeah.
Coaches, we've had 12,000 through with 500,000 end users.
Yeah.
So when I think about that, when we're engineering solutions and we're what ifing and what ifing and what ifing, there are 12,000 coaches that can tell you much faster what the best thing is to do if you just get it out in the world and let them tell you. Like we over engineer things to a fault. And then when it doesn't work the way that the customer, it doesn't work for them, we're like, just listen and just iterate and then get there faster, man. It's so cool. It's come up a couple times in this conversation.
You guys don't actually know this. I never talked about it. We stole one of your themes for our year. Our theme for our year for our company this year is do less things better.
I saw it on your Notion. Don't think I didn't notice. Yeah.
Let's go.
Because I mean, it's in multiple things. It's in our product, right? 9 years of building, we've got a lot of things in there. But it's like, do we need that extra thing, or do we need to make the core thing better? We need to make the core thing better at this point. Marketing. Could we do tons of different channels? Well, yeah, we could, but like, could we do this one that we know works better? And it's hard. It's very easy to start a new thing and this would be a great next big thing, next shiny object. And I think it's just getting back to let's do less, but let's do it better.
I think like to wrap it up though, that's a good place to leave it. And also like wrap it up with this experience. We literally looked at the whiteboard. We had been working for, lunch was here, a couple hours in the morning, lunch, a couple hours in the afternoon. And we looked at the whiteboard and said, look, we've got this down to like 3 buckets. 1, 2, 3. And Matt did a wonderful job of saying like, hey, is there anything else that if you left here, you felt like we would leave some meat on the bone, or, you would feel disappointed? And you're like, you made the decision to keep things simple. And you were like, honestly, like I've got everything I need in those 3 things. If I take more than that, we're diluting the experience. And so
we wouldn't do those 3, right? Yeah. If we took more, it'd be like, well, number 4 is easier. Let's do that one first instead of, no, these are the 3 things that are going to make the biggest difference. Do those first, and then we can talk about other stuff later. But if we don't do those 3, nothing else matters.
Yeah. It's a good way to live. I was impressed with that. Like a lot of people feel compelled to like do as much as we possibly can. And like, I'm down, like I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. We'll hammer until one of us falls asleep. I'm good for it. But I mean, yeah, it's not gonna be. You're
not gonna be first. I know that.
Didn't want to say till you fall asleep. I am a professional non-sleeper, sir. No, but I thought it was a great decision because it felt like a natural like culmination, and like riff on some AI stuff and shoot this podcast and do whatever. But like, it was the right place to like conclude the work and say we got 3 big, meaty, impactful, financially impactful, like future impactful themes with clear improvements on each, and say, I think we got it. I think we got the bite, the right size bite.
That's why we came, right?
It's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah, it's been awesome. This has been an amazing experience. I mean, I love hanging out with you guys. You guys make it fun. You make it, obviously worth it. So yeah, it's been awesome.
I want to wrap it up with one thing. I'll go first, and then Matt, you can go, and then you can wrap at the end to us. I just wanted to like win. We're gonna finish with a win too, and so like I think. For me, like I just want to praise you because one of the most open conversations I've had with entrepreneurs, founders, been in the game for a long time, and just, I got goosebumps. You can't see it because I got a hoodie on, but just like your willingness and openness to being like, hey, there's new ideas. There's people that have done things before. Absorb information, put yourself in the right room with the right people to make things happen. I mean, it's inspirational when you see people a decade into business still looking for the knowledge to get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And that is not everyone, man. And so like, I'm like very honored that we got to spend, we take it very seriously. Like this is a big deal for us, for you to come out here for, 2 days and spend the time with us. It means a lot. And I just think, man, like tons of praise to you for being that way and open to, digging in and getting after it. So that is my one win for you. That is kind of a win for me really, but
yeah.
So
I'll echo that. Like we take it really seriously. And I think the thing that I appreciated the most about you and the way we were able to approach the work is that you can kind of, you can zoom out and zoom in. And I think that's rare for people. A lot of times they like drift one way or the other in their like natural state, and like the fact that we were able to go from like, the 10 years of business and like the existential outcome for the business long term down to like the mid range of operating plans and revenue targets and ramps and drivers down to the how should we structure the metadata in our Mixpanel event tracking, like the fact that we were able to go from the clouds to the dirt and up and back again every time, like those types of people who can do that get to have a lot of fun, because it's like if you only do one or the other, here's what happens. It's like if you only stay in the details, then you never really feel like emotionally connected to the work that you're doing. And you're like, I flew to Maryland to like figure out the metadata on my Mixpanel events. Like, cool, could have been a fucking help doc, And at the same time, if we only stay in the high level, we can feel really good and feel like aligned with the direction of the business. Then we go home and it's like, okay, but what do I do now? And I think that your ability to hang in like both levels of fidelity made this a lot of fun. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I feel like, especially on Jake's point, it's because we're getting older, right? I feel like, 10 years ago, I might not have been like that.
Yeah.
And I think you see a lot of people come up and like, I know everything. I'm this awesome founder. It's like, at least for me, as I get older and like see more things, I realize how little I know. And like how much other people could help me out. And it's like, no, this isn't a game I have to figure out myself. Like the more you're open to like learning things, the easier it becomes. And so I think that's almost a lesson that you have to learn at some point. But yeah, I mean, the big win for me is just like clarity too, right? Being able to come in here and get a very clear picture of especially what our business needs going forward. Right. You talked a lot about is not looking in the rearview mirror too much. Yeah, we'll spend a little bit of time on this, but like, what's the windshield look like? I think that is a huge win and a good frame of mind for like, no, this is the plan and the business needs what the business needs to get to that plan. Like, that's all it is. This isn't complex, right? It's a simple thing. We just need to do the things we say we're going to do to hit that point. That's it.
Dude, appreciate you coming out, man. It's been killer.
Thank you. This has been awesome.
Founder Fight Club. Episode 4-ish.
4/1.
4/1.
Also, if you made it this far, do two things. Subscribe to this channel, because we're going to keep putting out podcasts like this. Sometimes we'll be with a friend like Kane. Sometimes it's just going to be me and Jake. Sometimes we'll have someone from the team on, but we're going to do this weekly-ish. I'm not big on long-term commitments, so like weekly-ish, give or take. I promise we won't take 8 years off between that now and the next one, though.
Episode 5 will be out sooner, 5-ish.
Episode 5 will be in 2040. So I better have a flying car by then. You're going to be pissed. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll put it out, everywhere and all of that. And, if you're looking for data clarity and you want to figure out how to grow the business by the numbers so you can stop guessing at a game that you said you wanted to win, precision.co. We'll put the link down below. Check us out. We'll either talk to Jake or one of his minions. But yeah, that's it, dude. Appreciate you hanging with us.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's awesome.
Appreciate you.
Peace.